Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded. It's Season 3, Episode 20, The Running Man. I am your host, Eric. My main man right there, Ron. How are you tonight?
Doing quite well. Just a little indifferent from the tragic news.
Yeah, the sad news that just broke a couple hours ago. We will discuss. But I did want to say, did you notice that those two boxes look a little like us back in the day? Was that, I'm thinking, did we do the whole Rocky 3 thing with Apollo Creed? I think that was a ding ding.
Yeah, they got it from us.
That's us. That was us. So Sports Unfolded, we do it all here. But we do have some breaking news, some sad news. Unfortunately, the sports world has lost an icon. The NFL has lost one of their greatest players of all time. Jim Brown, he has passed away at the age of 87 at his home in Los Angeles. Played 9 seasons for the Cleveland Browns. He only actually played till he was 29. But if you look at the numbers that he had, Ron, 2,359 rushes for 12,312 yards, a 5.2 yards per rush average, 106 touchdowns, 9-time Pro Bowler, 8-time All-Pro. So think about it. He was a Pro Bowler his entire career.
Yeah.
And he was an All-Pro 8 out of the 9. 3-time AP MVP, 3-time NEA MVP, 3-time UPI MVP. He did win an NFL championship. That's before the league merged. A 3-time Sports Nation Player of the Year. He won Rookie of the Year. He won the Burt Bell Award in 1963, which was awarded to the best player in the league. 7 1,000-yard seasons, Ron.
Should we not put him in the Sports Unfolded
Hall of Fame?
Hall of Fame?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. His best season, 1963, rushed for 1,863 yards, Ron. He averaged 133.1 yards per game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane. He also rushed twice, 17 touchdowns twice. 1958, and then, believe it or not, 1965, his last season in the league, he had the most touchdowns in his career.
You know why he left? Because he had such a great movie career ahead of him. He started in 64.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that, right? Entertainment Flash, the host, Ron here, just his filmology was pretty amazing. Like, he had a ton of movies, and hence the title, The Running Man. Didn't even realize, right? Forgot all about that small role in the Arnold Schwarzenegger film. But, and I think I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. I know he was in that one. That was a comedy that I really enjoyed, but he did so many things. And then the activist part of it, and him trying to, you know what I mean, for equal rights in this country. And he was such a big part of that. They lost a legend. He can run. Yeah. I mean, he was probably, when you think running backs, he's definitely one of those top 5 running backs of all time.
Yeah, and it goes way beyond like all those things that we know about him. I mean, just imagine all the things that you don't know that he's probably had his hand in, just with the day-to-day operations of, football and what he meant to, the black players that were around at that time. I mean, think about all that he's done for that. I mean, he's just means more than just a football player or just an actor. It goes way beyond that. It goes way beyond. And we should be rather proud of what he's accomplished, especially, during his playing career. I mean, it was not easy, being an African American back when he was playing.
Yeah.
And we don't even know what the hardships that he had to endure while he was playing.
No, just amazing story, amazing individual. A big loss for the sports world. Every year we do a moratorium at the end of the year,
Yeah.
and this one's going to be a tough one because he meant so much to the football world.
Yeah.
Even though, think about it, he retired after 9 seasons,
Yeah.
and we still talk about him today as
One of the best running backs.
right? It's
Yeah.
insane. Sad story, sad news.
And if he
coming out
was
of-
in the military, he'd be Captain Insane. No.
Hey, boy. That's an inside joke for those that weren't here. Kenny, thanks for joining us. Kenny, if you got time and you want to jump in tonight, let us know because we're going to talk a lot of basketball now. We're going to go, again, rest in peace, Jim Brown, and our condolences to his family and the NFL world. The Cleveland Browns fans, you think about, they don't have a lot to cheer about sometimes, but he was always one of those players that no matter what, every year.
Still one of the best all time.
Yes. So we're going to lead off story number 2. I guess that's what we'll call it tonight. And we're going to talk a little bit about these coaches that were fired and kind of what we thought the process would be. So both Doc Rivers and Monty Williams have been fired after their teams lost in the second round of the NBA playoffs. Do you think the firings were fair, Ron? Do you agree with the firings?
For both franchises, no. No, I don't actually. Look, first of all, it's right now there seems to be a shortage of coaches that can get it done in the NBA. And when you actually have coaches that have gotten it done, why get rid of that? I just don't understand it. And Philadelphia is going to need a coach like Rivers with all the stuff that they're going to go through, in the off season because, well, Harden is probably going somewhere else and you need somebody that's going to be unified. And I'll tell you, it's going to be tough for Philadelphia to get back to where they were.
I'm a little more disappointed, I think, in the Phoenix firing. Just based on the fact, if you think about what that organization did with the trade for Kevin Durant, they got rid of his bench.
Right.
Durant barely
fault.
Right. Durant barely played. And then in the playoffs, again, Chris Paul, another injury. Star player. I had the comparison, and I asked Kenny this when we did our NBA playoff show the other night. I said, if I'm going to give you a Ferrari, and then I'm not going to put gas in that car and then tell you can't drive, realistically, that's what you're doing. It's like, oh, you can't coach now. We're going to fire you, but you don't have the players.
Right.
The players weren't there. So you're firing guys based on the fact that they couldn't get out of the second round, but their best players were out. Your best players didn't step up. James Harden had 9 points in the game 7.
He was
and
awful.
Joel Embiid, I think, shot 25%.
Yeah.
That's Doc Rivers' fault?
Yeah, no. But it is his fault that, Embiid barely touched the ball.
In game 6.
Right.
Yeah.
So
in game 6, the last 4 minutes. Yeah. But again, if you're Embiid, when you just step up and say, look, give me the ball, give me the rock. You're on the court.
To be honest, your point guard should know what to do. Sorry. And this is why we always stress the fact that Harden will never win because of that fact. He doesn't know what to do when the game is on the line in the playoffs. He just doesn't know what to do. And that is because I'm going to just plainly say it, and I think he's selfish. And this is why his teams will never win everywhere he goes. And on the other side with Phoenix, I mean, how do you compete when your point guard is always injured?
Mm-hmm.
Chris Paul can't get it done because he's always getting injured.
Yeah. And then again, Durant really didn't have enough time to mesh with the team because when he got traded, he got hurt. He was out.
Right.
So they were playing fresh in the playoffs. Like that's when they really started playing together. So realistically, I don't know. Monty Williams, coach of the year in 2021-22. So you look at it, all of a sudden he forgot how to coach in 1 year.
Yeah.
I think
it makes no
Phoenix
sense to me.
Phoenix is absolute horrible. Doc Rivers, I will say this though, again, phenomenal win percentage with Philadelphia, 653. It was 154 and 82, but 35 playoff games, 20 and 15.
Yeah.
That's where I think they expected him to be. He was a phenomenal regular season coach for them.
Yeah.
It was the playoffs that they seemed to have. He got out coached. He got out coached, which is
Oh, he
amazing.
did.
Because if we look at what Joe Mazzulla is doing, which we'll talk about later in the show, I mean, I don't even understand how that's possible. I don't understand how that's possible. Like, I don't get it, Doc. Like, that one shouldn't have happened.
What's up, Doc?
Hey, can we rock?
Hey, you could have had that for a title too. Wow, there was a lot of them.
Little Fushnikins there with Shaq. I know Kenny knows that one.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I don't think Doc Rivers is a great coach as it is.
Yeah, one championship. He's holding on to those laurels, and it was. I mean, it's
but
really.
You know, in this case, man, they are going to really be sorry that they let him go when they have to go through the offseason like they're going to have to go through. And I'm sorry. I think it's going to be a complete disaster. I think this team is pretty much done.
So there's a slight rumor Harden may want out. Do you think that Embiid and Maxey could be the guys, and then you build around them? I mean, we saw some good things out of Maxey. Is he a top caliber player that can actually help Philadelphia? Or is this going to be one of those things now where here we go again? And let's not forget with Doc, though, that Ben Simmons situation.
Yeah.
Right? He got stuck with that with a kid who didn't want to play, who basically became a mental case on the court. He just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was not a perfect situation in Philadelphia by no means. But with that being said, you had the talent there. But you know, the talent just couldn't get it done. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And somebody, I don't know who said it, but somebody said it pretty well when Embiid got what he wanted, and that was the MVP. He wasn't hungry enough to have that championship.
Probably he felt satisfied maybe and didn't. Yep. Yeah, no, that's a great point. It's a great point. Well, we will get back to some NBA talk later on in the show, but we're going to move on to the NFL right now, Ron, and we're going to talk about Joe Burrow. You know, they're in contract talks. We're going to bring him up. And Joe Burrow is basically waiting for that contract. Do you feel he should be the highest paid quarterback in the league?
No. Oh, you want me to tell you why?
Next segment. Let's go on to our next. No. Yeah, I mean, see, I don't know if I don't agree. Go ahead, but let me hit your point first. This is
the problem with the salary structures, and it goes like this for every sport. You know, why do you need to pay the next guy that's a free agent the most money in the league? Why do you feel the need to do that? Shouldn't you pay him along the lines of where he belongs on the spectrum?
But that's what I'm saying.
What I've always said. It's like right now, okay, so 2 years ago, Tom Brady should have been the standard. And yes, I understand that he takes less to make the team win. Well, I understand that.
Not in Tampa Bay.
Not in Tampa Bay, correct. And therefore, that's why, you know, unless you're better than Tom Brady, you're not getting paid more than him, in my book. And I think right now the standard has to be Patrick Mahomes. So I am not paying Joe Burrow more money to lose to Patrick Mahomes.
He did beat Patrick Mahomes once.
Not this past year.
Got to the Super Bowl. He's been in 2 AFC championship games.
I get it, but he hasn't won it.
I get it.
Mahomes is the standard.
I understand it, but if again, and we get in this argument all the time, but where the market is, I would pay him more than Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr, Kyler Murray.
That's the problem.
He's a better quarterback.
Deshaun Watson and Kyler Murray should not have gotten those contracts.
But it's there, and you can't get rid of it now. So at this point, why wouldn't Joe Burrow get at least? And
this is why you'll never see a normal pay structure in the NFL anymore.
It's done.
That's that. It's never gonna be the same. No, they're paying receivers and quarterbacks an outrageous amount of money. You can't build up a team, so we're gonna see sloppy play in playoffs instead of quality football. it's just going to be sloppy, and then the team that can just muster enough offense wins. That's it. So it's not going to be a skillful game anymore.
Is that how you like it? Sloppy
Yeah,
Joes. Sloppy
exactly.
Joe Burrow, Sloppy Joe. I will say this, Ron. I disagree with you on this one because I'm going to tell you right now that this
Go
kid,
figure.
his future, realistically, the Cincinnati Bengals, he can get them to at least 2-3 more Super Bowls in his career.
Yeah,
I
but why
truly
pay
believe
him
that.
more than Mahomes? Why not just pay him just under him?
I'm not saying he's going to get, maybe I'm just saying he should be in that
Right.
conversation. He may not get as much as Mahomes, but Mahomes isn't the highest paid quarterback. That's Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah, I know.
who's won one Super Bowl,
Right, and who's
and
played
hasn't, and never
okay.
got back to another one. At
Right.
least Joe. I mean, granted, it's only been 3 years, 4 years.
Oh,
But he's
I'm not
gotten back. He's gotten
questioning
one.
the future of Joe Burrow. I'm not questioning that. But I just don't. When somebody's up for a contract, I'm going to look at the list of quarterbacks, and I'm going to say, well, until you can win a Super Bowl, we're not paying you more than this guy. I mean,
Yeah,
that's just how it should be.
But again, but you've made this argument. I am so happy you said that because you've made this argument. So then a Joe Flacco or a Trent Dilfer should be the highest paid quarterbacks because they won a Super Bowl. You can't do that either.
No, you can't.
Right? So be careful what you're saying right now.
But Mahomes is the standard.
He is currently,
He's
yes.
the standard. So
but then you could also say nobody should make more than Tom Brady ever because nobody's going to win 7.
That's a
right?
little pushing it.
So that's what I'm saying. Like you could,
when he comes into the office in Cincinnati, the owner should say, "Okay, so how much do you want?" And then he says more than what Patrick Mahomes is getting. Then you say, "Well, I'll give you what he's getting."
Would you pay him more than Josh Allen?
I would.
Okay. I'm just curious because I feel like he's a better quarterback. I think he's the second best quarterback in the league right now.
I do too.
So, all right. Hey, new segment, my friend.
That at least.
Yes, we did. A new segment. We're really excited about this. We're calling it Starting 5.
Whoa, listen to this. The drama.
Our starting 5. And how our starting 5 is going to work is players named Joe. And we're going to give you our 5 players. Huh? Joe.
Mama?
Yes, Joe.
He's my number 5.
Number 5. I love it. So I will say this: have some more wine, Ron, and just make sure that you're ready for this. So we have picked 5 players
for the new segment.
I love it. We have picked 5 individuals in the sports world that are named Joe, and this is how we rank them. So I am first, but what we'll do is I'll go my 5, then your 5, and then we'll just go down the line. Ron, our starting 5 named Joe. My number 5, Joe Frazier, boxer. Think about those Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, those great fights. Joe Frazier. Your number 5.
My number 5 is Joe Green.
Mean Joe Green. He is on my list.
Green. Let me tell you.
He is on my list.
I mean, 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't argue with that. And he was menacing.
Yeah.
They didn't call him Mean Joe Green for nothing.
My favorite Mean Joe Green is the Coca-Cola commercial. Hey, kid. Yeah. And he throws the jersey, man. I'll never forget that commercial.
That was timeless.
Right? And never forget that commercial. Because you think of Mean Joe Green. This guy, nope. He throws the jersey, right? It was a great moment.
It was.
So my number 4, not a player. Well, he did play, but I'm not picking him because of his player. I'm picking him because of his managerial skills and what he did for the New York Yankees. That's Joe Torre. Joe Torre, my
told
number
me
4.
Athletes.
He is an athlete. He's in the athletic world.
Oh my God. Yeah. He's in the athletic
Joe
world, right?
Torre.
The athletic, never mind.
My number 4, Joe Torre. Who do you got?
Yeah, I did not go Joe Torre, that's for sure. Even if it was coaching, I wouldn't even put him in the top 4 in coaching.
Blah, 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 blah.
My number 4.
How dare you, by the way?
was
Just
Joe
respect.
Louis, the boxer.
Joe Louis, another good
Joe
one.
Louis was better than Frazier.
He
He
was.
was
I think.
66-3.
Yes.
66-3 with
Yeah.
52 knockouts. That's
Yes.
incredible.
Yep. Yep. No, that was a good one. I had Joe Louis written down, and I should have probably went Joe Louis, but
I mean,
no,
he was in there for
yeah,
me in the mix,
yeah,
but he
yeah,
didn't make the cut.
yeah. At three, I had Mean Joe Green. The 4 Super Bowls, that Coca-Cola
Nice.
commercial. I went 3
Nice.
with Joe Green.
Which now I'm going to be a little upset that you didn't get this guy on this list because he
Okay.
should have been.
All right.
Number 3 for me is Joe Sakic. I mean,
Joe Sakic.
How do you not have 625 goals in this?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, he was a great player.
2 cups.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I love it. Joe Sakic. Very good one. Number 2, Joe Montana. Joe Montana. Obviously, what he meant to the quarterback position and how he revolutionized that position for sports today. So, Joe Montana, my number 2.
My number 2 is also. My name is Joe Montana.
Hi, my name is. Yes, no, Joe
Exactly.
Montana,
Well,
right?
I mean, 4 Super Bowls. Second best quarterback of all time.
Yeah, Tom Brady wouldn't be Tom Brady without Joe Montana.
That's right.
Because Joe Montana was that bar that he tried to set himself to be, and obviously exceeded it. But
yeah,
my number 1 though.
Yep, it's probably the same as mine.
Number 1 Joe of all time, Joe DiMaggio.
Oh, you had Joe DiMaggio?
Joe DiMaggio.
Oh, I had because I'm almost embarrassed to say it. Joe Votto.
Joey Votto. I knew it. I knew it.
No. It was actually Joe Carter.
Joe Carter. Yes.
No. They were on the list
Yeah.
of Joe's, but not close enough. No, my number 1 had to be Joe DiMaggio. I mean, there's legends. But this guy, he did it all.
And in New York, and Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, and he might have been the only one that got away with knocking off a president.
So, our starting 5. I had Joe Frazier, Joe Torre.
So
Joe
what
Green,
happened to me.
Joe Montana, no more wine for you, and Joe DiMaggio. And you had, Ron, your starting 5?
My starting 5 was Joe Green, Joe Louis, the correct boxer, Joe Sakic, Joe Montana, not Montana, and Joe DiMaggio. No, Joe DiMaggio was so great.
I love it.
Really.
This is going to be a fun segment for us. I like this segment. We'll come up with all different names and continue to do that. But that was our starting 5 players named Joe. Hope you enjoyed that segment. Let us know in the chat or anytime you follow us on social media. Let us know how you feel about it. Give us a name.
They are certainly no regular Joes. But when you look at the scheme of things, like
if you could dodge a bench,
I was really searching for great players named Joe. There's just not many.
I'm gonna let you know right now. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Just remember that. Average Joes. All right. That's a good one. Come on, Dodgeball. It was a great movie. They're actually making a sequel, by the way. They're making Dodgeball too. Let's talk
the money.
Let's talk some NBA. Back to the NBA, and we're going to talk first about the Lakers. The Lakers have fallen 0-2 to the Denver Nuggets.
Big surprise.
Can they win this series, Ron? Do you think it's over?
Yes. Okay. It was over before they even got into the arena.
Wow. I will say this. If I'm Denver right now, I'm calling Adam Silver. I'm thanking him. I'm saying you guys did me such a favor by naming Joel Embiid MVP because Nikola Jokic has decided that he is going to just completely dominate. He's averaging 28.5, 19 Ron, rebounds.
Yes, 19.
And 13 assists in the 2 games.
I watched game 1 and I'm like,
yeah, what do you have? 12 rebounds in the first quarter, first half.
Yeah, he had a triple-double like in the first few minutes of the third quarter.
It's
And I'm like, what am I seeing? The
he's on a
game was
mission.
over by the first quarter.
Yeah, he's on a mission. He's on a mission. And I think that benefits the guys are healthy. Jamal Murray, we know what kind of player he can be. He's actually
Yeah.
leading the team in points. Michael
Which
Porter
is crazy
Jr.,
'cause look at how
Aaron
well
Gordon.
Jokic is doing.
The key too, though, Anthony Davis has been way too inconsistent, and I think that's what's ultimately going to hurt the Lakers because LeBron James cannot carry this team.
No.
Listen, 38 years old, he's had an amazing career in the NBA. He really has. But you're starting to see those slides.
He's
not
turning the ball over a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, if Anthony Davis can't be the best big man on the court, the Lakers have no shot.
No.
And honestly, with Jokic being on the court, I don't think he'll ever be the best big man on the court.
No.
So,
I mean, just when he fights for the rebounds, it's relentless, and he gets it. He gets it. See, and this is the difference between AD and Joel Embiid. Joker gets it.
Mhm.
He knows what he has to do because everybody's always saying, "Oh yeah, he's great and all, but he can't win it." Well, somebody shouldn't have said that too often.
No,
because he's gonna win it this year.
Yeah, no, he is by far the best player in the NBA right now.
Yeah, and you look at him, you're like, how?
Yeah, right. He's just not. He's not flash. They were talking about he's passing like Magic Johnson.
Yeah,
he's rebounding like Will.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then he can still score 30 points a game.
And he's got such a soft touch. He just kind of floats it up there, and it's just slow motion almost, and it just goes in. It just goes in.
Listen, I think they've got a very good coach in Mike Malone. He knows how to coach this team and knows how to let Joker do his thing. I love the chemistry they're playing with right now. The only downfall is that it goes back to LA, and Denver has not been as good on the road. They're perfect at home, not as good on the road. So if you let LeBron back in and give him 2 games, which I don't think is going to happen, but if you do, obviously then you got to really look at what could possibly happen in this series. But I think it's done. Yeah. If the Lakers get 1, I'd be surprised.
As my prop has noticed, told me that they are cutting them down like trees. You don't hear the chainsaw?
No. Oh. I probably would have got it then if I had heard that.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess the sound isn't going through the
Yeah.
It would have been.
So the second series that we're going to discuss is the Boston Celtics. So they continue to find ways to lose games. Great shot at Tatum here with another turnover in game 1. Who do you blame for their inconsistencies and the reason that they're not more dominant in these playoffs?
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. That's who I blame. I mean, this team should easily have cruised, but nope.
Yeah, I listen. This bothered me. His comment when he said he was one of the top 5, humbly, he said, I'm one of the top 5 players in the NBA. And I cannot recall a time, and maybe, Ron, you've watched a lot of sports. I've watched a lot of sports. I'm sure Kenny's watched a lot of sports. I know he's live right now. Do you ever remember, like, Michael Jordan turning the ball over 4 straight times in a row? No. Do you remember Michael Jordan completely shutting down for 3/4 of a game half the time? Him and Brown scored 6 points each in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
And I sit back and I start to think about the fact that we want to blame Joe Mazzulla, and I will blame Joe Mazzulla for one thing, 3rd quarter, because you allowed the team to do what they wanted to do instead of saying, look, what was working for us is driving to the hole, not throwing up 75 threes in a half, and playing smart defensive basketball. All they did in the 3rd quarter is decide they were going to turn into a 3-point shooting team again. They weren't hitting them, and that's when Miami went on that 45-26 quarter and basically destroyed any hopes. Jason Tatum plays so well from ahead. If they are up, all of a sudden he's scoring 50. When they're down and it's tight, he gets tight. He makes so many
This is what I've
mistakes.
been saying for 2 years, Eric. This is nothing new. I've been saying it. Look, this team cannot come up big. Like, they are not a good clutch team because they just cave and they just fall into stupid habits that we're going to let somebody else win this game for us. But that other player does not currently play for the team. It's the
You know who
same
has it?
problem over and over again.
You know who has it? Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
In that fourth quarter, he said, I'm going to make every play possible.
Yeah.
Every play possible.
Yep.
And he did. And you look back and you look on the other side and you go, okay, Jason Tatum basically just became a turtle, went right into the shell and said, forget it. I can't do this.
Yeah.
He's not a top 5 player. He needs to get that out of his head right off the bat because
he's definitely not a top 5 player because, I mean, it's easy to just roll off 5 players that are definitely better than him.
No.
Okay. Okay. So Giannis,
agreed.
Joker, Luka,
Luka,
Embiid is better. Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say this though, that what should be humbling is that you stink when the team needs you the most. And if you're smart, you're going to start to have some kind of killer instinct that we've said it. They don't have. They don't have it. And we're seeing it again. I expect them to come out tonight and blow the doors off and they'll win. They'll win tonight. But they're going to carry this to 7 games regardless because they just don't know how to just put that killer instinct in and just say, look, we got to finish this in 5-6 games. They can't do it.
When they are up a game, it's easy just to go out there and just coast and float through a game. But that's during the regular season. It's easy. You can't do that in the playoffs because those players are ready, and the Celtics never come in ready. They never come in ready unless they get embarrassed the night before.
And the kicker, Marcus Smart the other day after the press conference says, "Oh, they get tired of doing the little things." That's what wins games.
That's what wins championships.
Right? And I just don't understand. We could sit back and blame Mazzulla. That's a player mentality.
Yeah.
That is not a coach. Because I did see him in the third quarter throwing the clipboard and getting pissed off at that team because they weren't putting any effort in.
Yeah.
And yet it didn't translate on the court because the players don't get it. They don't receive it. They don't care. And they'll come back and say, oh, it bothers us. It does not. Because you wouldn't want to lose. Kobe Bryant didn't want to lose. Michael Jordan didn't want to lose. Larry Bird didn't want to lose. Magic Johnson didn't want to. Those are the greatest players of all time.
Yeah.
Bill Russell's, right? All these guys. Shaq.
Well, Bill Russell never lost.
Right? But think about it. When the Lakers were down against Sacramento, and it's well documented, right? Shaq said, I'm going to dominate. I'm done.
Yeah.
We're not losing this game.
Right.
And that's the players you need. Tatum's like, oh, we're up by 30. I'll keep shooting and making them now. You're down by 5. You can't hit the side of the barn.
Yeah. No, and this is, again, we've talked about this for the last few years, Eric, and it's just the same. It's all the same. And I don't think it changes unless you get a piece in there that changes it.
Yeah. And what do you do? Dame Lillard, who's never won either? Like, what do you do? Like, there's not a player out there that I think changes this dynamic. You know what I really thought about the other night, Ron? And it sounds crazy, but you don't need him till the playoffs. So I would just say sit out until the playoffs. Chris Paul. Maybe a Chris Paul, a guy that can just run the offense, who's older, who has experience, who can point guard. Because right now your point guard's Marcus Smart.
Yeah, but Chris Paul, I have no problem with Marcus Smart as a point guard. The problem I have is that nobody's controlling, what he's always doing. You know what I'm saying? So he goes off on these little tantrums of just chucking it up. And he's just got to stop that. There's no one there that has ever really truly been a great point guard for the Celtics,
Mhm.
that is there to guide. And I think that is what this team needs is a guy in there that is a point guard, a true point guard, whether he's an assistant coach or an aging player to sit the bench for a while. But somebody that is that kind of a player.
Yeah.
And they don't have that. This team just doesn't have that guidance. And like it was there with Horford, but after a while they tuned him out. And now that's not working. And unless you have somebody that really knows how to control the game, and granted, I believe that Chris Paul does know how to do that. The problem is you have to put him in bubble wrap.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Just have him sit until the playoffs.
So
I don't need you until the playoffs. I need a guy that I know can make decisions on the court that are going to benefit the team, because it seems like everybody either does one or two things. We're either going to all shoot, or we're just going to give the ball to Jason Tatum and let him shoot. And that's not working for this team. It hasn't worked for years. Isaiah Thomas,
they had that one.
When I say that, I wouldn't say it was a great point guard. It was a great story.
Well,
IT was a great story in Boston. But would you say he was a great point guard, Kenny? Do you think if he was here today, healthy, because obviously he had some health issues and that kind of derailed his career, I don't think they'd be any better with Isaiah Thomas as a point guard.
You know what you need? This is what you need. You need that championship point guard from that, Garnett, Pierce, Allen team.
You want to bring John Rondo back?
I'm just saying you need a guy like that. That's what you needed, because look, I'll tell you, I think he was an unsung hero in that playoff.
Without a doubt, because he didn't need the ball. He didn't care about he'll get the ball. Well, I mean, obviously there were some stories.
Him and Ray Allen. It was all there. It was all there. What you needed. It's too bad it only lasted that really 1 year.
Yeah.
But but that's the kind of point guard you need. You need the guy that's going to be out there hustling and distributing the ball. And it seemed like nothing he did went wrong in the playoffs that year. I mean, he was fantastic.
Yeah, it was double-doubles every night, almost triple-doubles.
Yeah, since then, where's it been? I mean, you get the great defense from Smart. Look, I think Smart has a place on any championship team. But he's not. He goes off, like I said, on these 5-minute spurts where he's chucking the ball up.
Yeah, as soon as he hits one, forget it. He hits one, 7 more are going up.
Right.
It's just a guarantee. It's that kind of mentality, and it's killing him. And then Jaylen Brown, who wanted to be Mr. All-NBA, right? That was so important, so he could get that max super deal and get $200 million plus. Right? That's great. But you can't I've never seen him dominate a playoff game yet. Like, at least Tatum scored 50. I've seen Tatum go off and have some games. Jaylen Brown just quietly, all right, he'll get his 25. He doesn't dominate. He doesn't take over a game. You don't sit back and go,
okay, it up all the time.
Yeah, give him the rock and he can get us 15 points in a quarter. I don't see that. You see it on the other side with Jimmy Butler. You saw as soon as Jimmy Butler got the ball, his main objective was either I'm going to score, I'm going to get fouled, or I'm going to find the right player to make sure they hit the shot. Jason Tatum basically pooped his pants. He pooped his pants. And I'm keeping it clean because we're a family-friendly show, by the way. But I would say that, like, it looked like that he never played in a playoff game before.
Right. Playoffs?
So I don't even know where it starts, but I think to you, I agree. It's probably the two J's. You blame them more than anybody else.
Yeah.
And then it goes down the line. Marcus Smart, Joe Mazzulla. Everybody's on Mazzulla and the head coach. The guy's a first-year head coach. Eric Spoelstra should be able to out-coach him because Eric Spoelstra's been doing it a long time and doing it at a high level.
And he has a team with more of a heart.
Yeah.
They're all actually, I'll just point out that one player, Butler. I mean, I'm sorry. At this point, I would in a heartbeat trade Brown for Butler.
I agree. You get somebody that has that dog in him
Yeah.
that wants to win.
Yep.
Because Tatum, I think they're just happy being humbly the 5th best player in the NBA or one of the top 5. Like that's all they care about. It's about the stats. It's not about winning.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, it's
I
like
don't know.
Tatum's sneaker commercial too, right?
Which one? That dumb Gatorade or the high
When
sense?
did you know?
Yeah. I can't. They're dumb commercials. Anyway, let's talk some Major League Baseball. We will do a prediction of this game at the end of the show. So tune in for our prediction segment.
And
But Major League
there,
Baseball, the Yankees, little noise this week from the Yankees. First controversy, Aaron Judge. Supposedly they think that he was getting signals from the dugout. And then Domingo Germán his picture's actually going to come up here any second. And it's
maybe.
He had some sticky stuff on his fingers or his hand. Do you think it's a big deal? Would you consider it a big deal?
It's concerning. I mean, I look. I mean, this has been going on for as long as baseball has been played with the sticky stuff. I mean, every pitcher has probably done it. And then the signs, every team has tried to steal signs for as long as we've known it. That isn't to me, that isn't as egregious as, some of the other things that go on.
Yeah.
Do I really care? No, I really don't care about this. Because they're always trying to do something to get ahead, as long as it's not going further than that. You know what I'm saying? It's
I got you. You know what bothered me about this whole thing? Germán, this was the same umpiring crew that did a previous game and had already pre-warned him.
Yeah.
Like in that game to say, look, it's a little sticky stuff. We're going to let it go this time. And he did it again with the same crew. Like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
Yeah, it's stupid.
I don't think they were tipping. The pitcher actually said that he thinks he was tipping his pitches. And that's what, Judge picked up on it. And that, but it's just, what amazes me is that, like, this stuff now that happens, to your point, because of the steroid era and what happened back then.
Yeah.
These things nobody cares anymore. Nobody really cares. Like Alex Cora, and you talk about that whole scandal, and everybody wanted it. Nobody cares. Like, whatever, we'll rehire.
Yeah, I know. I don't think they should have brought him back.
I mean, they are in last place right now, the Red Sox. So
yeah, I know.
Can't win if you can't cheat. The Yankees are in 4th. So that's like, they're not doing a very good job.
Yeah,
either.
when you look at it, I think there's only like 2 teams in a playoff spot that were in the playoffs last year.
It's insane. The whole AL East, though, is all over 500.
Yeah.
The entire division. So it's going to be it's going to be a rough year for all these guys. But I agree with you. Not a real big deal. I think people just they want a story, especially with the Judge thing, because of last year in the home runs.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Unless there's more to it. I mean, if the pitcher comes out and says something, then like, why is there even a conversation about it?
The broadcasters brought it up. You know what? You want great broadcasters? Bring Sports Unfolded. We'll do your broadcasting for you, and we'll give you some real insight on baseball.
There we go.
And we'll have to probably keep each other awake sometime, but the games are much quicker, so we might be able to stay up for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we might be able to.
I think we could do that.
I mean, if some of these old timers are doing it, then
right. All right, my friend. It is time for Future Prospects.
Sports Unfolded. Future Prospects.
This is the part of the show where we're going to basically go into the future. We're going to tell you things that we've seen, we know are going to happen because our time machine, we went in and we looked at all these things and we said, all right, we got to bring this back and tell all the people out there. They need to know. They need to know. Although I don't know what time machine you are in, because you said the Denver Nuggets wouldn't lose another game in the playoffs and then it lost 2 straight. But, you meant after those 2.
Yes, after
that's
those
what it
2.
was. I gotcha. So I am first, so I will tell you what my time machines I brought back. So Doc Rivers, he'll get a couple of offers. He's going to decide not to coach next season. He's going back to the TV studios. He is going to be back in the studios and just doing that job and sit back and wait for a better job maybe the following season. But Doc Rivers will not be coaching next season in the NBA.
He's going to go to Minnesota. Minnesota.
Yeah, he would go to Minnesota. Your first future prospect.
My future prospects. All right. Ronald Acuna Jr. He is going to be this year's batting champion for the National League.
Okay. What's he batting right now?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. I'm just asking. I didn't know if he was like
He's
already
been
in
around
first.
for 3 years. This is going to be the breakout.
This is the breakout year. Acuna Jr. My second future prospect. The WNBA and the NBA will no longer think about super teams after the many failures in recent history. So how many of these teams have tried? The Brooklyn Nets failed. Phoenix Suns failed. Teams are done doing this. We're not going to see these players moving around as much to try to create a super team. NBA, WNBA.
Are you saying the Liberty aren't going to win?
They're 0-2 already. You said they were starting off 5-0, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So I'm just saying it's not working. These super teams are not working.
5-0 after the first 2 games.
Is that what it was again? I'm telling you, man, these super teams aren't working. It's just not working. And I think the leagues are going to start to smarten up a little bit and say, look, it's not even worth us doing it.
Okay.
Your second future prospect.
All right. My second one is going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind.
All right. Let's see.
The Boston Bruins will trade not only Hall, but Jeremy Swayman as well.
Wow. That is crazy. Wow.
And they're probably going to do it draft day.
Oof. Hall would be a big loss.
Well, they both would, but
yeah.
But that's my prediction.
Your future prospect.
Swayman is a restricted free agent, so I think they lose him either way.
Yeah.
But if they
get a draft pick back,
at least they'll probably be better off.
Okay, I like it. All right, it's a different one. Good segue into the NHL because we're going to talk some NHL.
There we go.
So very good, very good. That's future prospects. We are talking some NHL now. My hockey guru, Ron, Florida Panthers taking care of business in Game 1, winning in the fourth overtime. Should they be favored in the East now? Are we done not considering them the favorite after what they've been able to do in these playoffs?
Look, what they're doing is incredible, to be honest with you. Like I said, they're just enforcing their will on their opponents. And you look at all the talent that they've already gotten past Boston and Toronto. I mean, now they taken on Carolina and won the first game in that series. I mean, Carolina is my choice for the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And I've been riding that team all year. And wow.
But does this not benefit Carolina that it took four overtime periods? So, I mean, from a standpoint of, look, it wasn't Florida realistically has been kind of just going through the motions.
Yeah. Yep.
Even with Boston, it was close games, but they didn't seem to have to struggle as much when overtime came. Bang. Carolina to me seems like they're going to be a very tough out.
Yeah, no, they're not gonna like fall over and just let Florida do everything they want to do. I think Carolina has a very good defense and a very experienced coach that knows how to win. So I think he's going to be able to come up with a plan to counteract, that forecheck by Florida. And if they can get around that forecheck, then you could probably see a lot of odd man rushes going the other way. And if you're going to constantly do that to Carolina, that's eventually going to burn you. And because I mean, let's face it, Florida is a solid team. Don't get me wrong; they're a solid team. They're good defensively. They have some great players up and down that lineup. But Carolina knows how to play the game. They're Stanley Cup ready,
Well,
and I think
it,
that's going to be the difference when you're talking about those forwards.
yeah.
If they have an odd man rushes, there's only so much your goaltending can do. So it's just getting those quality chances. They got to get around that forecheck, and once they figure that out, they'll be okay.
If Florida doesn't win it all, is it a disappointment based on the fact that they beat the best regular season team in history? Right? Nobody expected them to be there. Now it's like, do you feel like they feel like they have to win?
No, I don't. In fact, I think it would be just the opposite. I don't think the NHL wants Florida.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
I think they would have rather had the Rangers be there, but I think that Carolina is what they want to showcase, for the fans, because they want speed, they want some, great hockey. And I know, Florida shows that physical side of it, but I think they want to have that more of a European look to it.
Mhm.
That's just what they want, but they want more scoring. And, you know, I don't think with either team you're really going to get that.
Yeah.
And that's why I say they really wanted the Rangers in Edmonton.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. So, one more hockey question. The Boston Bruins obviously, failed in the playoffs. Now we're seeing Bruce Cassidy, their former coach. He's in the Western Conference Finals. Did the Boston Bruins make a mistake by firing Bruce Cassidy? Do you feel like?
No.
Okay.
No, because they definitely played better, than they did, in the latter stages of, Bruce Cassidy's reign. Look, he just had them open up their defense a little, and it did wonders. The only problem is that they didn't play the same in the playoffs as they did the regular season, and that is the issue.
Yeah.
So,
But how is Cassidy able to get a team like Vegas now, who at the beginning of the season, right, they looked like they were the best team in the NHL, right? Then they had that stumble where it kind of like looked like they were, coming back down to earth, and they played a little better towards the end of the season, get into the playoffs, and now you see the playoff hockey and his style, it works in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're also in the Western Conference, so and I've not hid the fact that the Western Conference is just not as strong as the East.
But you also got the worst team in the East right now in the Eastern Conference final. So,
well, that's just it. I think if Florida was in the West, I think Florida would probably be the best team in the West.
Okay,
seriously,
interesting.
I would.
So you would keep Bruce Cassidy, Jim Montgomery's job safe next season?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. All right. Absolutely. Like, I think he did a great job. Obviously the regular season. I really can't. I can't blame him for the play of the players. I think this is all on the players this year. I mean, from what I see in those games, there were so many giveaways, and they just couldn't get out of their own way.
It's what we call in the sports world. They did a Jason Tatum, basically.
Correct.
Right? That's where we're at in Boston.
And that is exactly what I feel in both these cases as well. So,
yeah. Great hockey talk. It is pick and roll time, my friend.
It's time for
Kenny.
pick and roll.
So we're on episode 20. So 20 years ago, not funny, he said. 20 years ago, 2003, these five players led the NBA in points per game, and that was Tracy McGrady, Peja Stojakovic, Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, and Paul Pierce. So we're going to rank them from 5 to 1. I am first this week, so I will give you the correct list, and then Ron will always try to, come up with some reason as to why he thinks it's incorrect, which he's always wrong. But I will start us off with the correct list. At number 5 has to be Peja Stojakovic. A great player. He really was. 17 points per game, 4.7 rebounds, 1.8 assists. Shot 45% from the field, 40.1 from three-point range. So a very good shooter from outside. 89.5 from the free throw line. 3-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA, 1-time champion. And I had to look that up. I didn't even realize he was on that Dallas Mavericks team that beat the Heat in 2010.
Who,
Peja. I did not remember him on that team. So I don't think he was really playing much then. But he won a championship with them. At 4, I went Tracy McGrady, 19.6 points, 5.6 rebounds, 4.4 assists, 43.5% from the field, 33.8 from three-point range, 74.6 from the free throw line. I think these guys could have been better at the line. A 7-time All-Star, 2-time scoring champ, 7-time All-NBA, and 2000 and 2001 most improved player. No championships, though. And Peja, just the numbers weren't as good as McGrady's. That's why I put McGrady at 4. Peja, even though with the championship. At 3, Kenny, don't be upset with me. Paul Pierce, 19.7 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, 3.5 assists. Shot 44.5% from the field, 36.8 from the three-point line, 80.6 from the free throw line. He was a 10-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA. He was on the All-Rookie team and a 1-time champion. But these other two guys, I will just have to say, are probably some of the best basketball players to ever lace them up. And that would be at 2, Kevin Garnett, 17.8 points per game, 10 rebounds, 3.7 assists, shot 49.7% from the field, 27.5 from 3, obviously not his game, 78.9 from the free throw line. He was a 15-time All-Star, 4-time rebounding champ, 9 All-NBAs, 12 All-Defensive. He was an MVP. He was the Defensive Player of the Year. He was on the All-Rookie team, and obviously he had his 1 championship. But at number 1, it has to be Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bean Bryant, 25 points per game in his career, 5.2 rebounds, 4.7 assists. And we said Kobe never passed. He almost averaged 5 assists for his career. 44.7% from the field, 32.9 from the three-point line, 83.7 free throws. He was an 18-time All-Star, 2-time scoring champ, 15-time All-NBA. Still had 12 All-Defensive as well. He won an MVP, was on the All-Rookie, and I don't know, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 NBA championships. Kobe Bryant, best on this list from the 2003 NBA points per game leaders.
Hey, you finally had one right. All right. So again, Peja is number 5. Yeah, he got a championship, but he wasn't the piece that won the championship.
I had to check it. I really didn't.
Yeah, he did get a championship, but it wasn't him.
And he was very important to those Sacramento teams. I remember
the
Sacramento days, but I didn't.
So he was number 5. Tracy McGrady was just a much better player, but never figured it out, I guess, to win one. Back then, I guess, players didn't move around as much to go build a dream team. So he was number 4, but no championships. So they were not so close in my book. But the 3 guys ahead of them were definitely way ahead of them. I'm actually kind of surprised that some of these guys didn't shoot better from 3.
Yeah, but again, the league changed. It's not like today's 3.
Right.
Obviously, they're 3-point happy.
Yeah, so Paul Pierce, I had him at number 3.
The truth.
And really, it was that championship year that really defined him being number 3 for me, because when Garnett came into the picture, and they won that championship. It was really because of Garnett. I mean, he changed the mindset of the team. And when you're talking about those 12 all defensive, that sways it in his favor greatly.
Yeah.
But just the fact that, you're talking only 2 points difference, but Garnett still gave you 10 rebounds too.
He had
So,
more assists than Paul.
right. So, like, those numbers are just way better than Paul's all total. And, then you throw in, those all NBA teams and MVP, so those numbers just make Paul Pierce kind of look kind of small, to be honest with you. And it was more of a battle between Kobe and Garnett for me, and I still barely have Kobe Bryant ahead.
4 more championships. You can't.
I know, and that is the swaying moment. But I'm looking at that shooting percentage.
Yeah, but he shot a lot more. He's throwing up.
Absolutely, and I get all that, But when you talk about these two guys and their desire to win, like this, it's not. We mentioned it with Tatum in that earlier. Look, they are some of the best ever because of that desire to win. That just you have to. That's how you breathe. Is that desire, and it's not there for a lot of players in this league today.
Yeah, it's a much different league.
Yeah.
Much
so,
different.
but yes, I have Kobe at number 1, of course. I mean, it was tough. It was tough. I think if Kobe would have shot a little bit better, I think some of the times he forced some up.
Yeah, well, that was Kobe.
But again, you talk about a player like that. He didn't mind having the game on the line in his hands. So that's what makes him great.
Yeah, agreed. Great list. Very good players. Ron, it's prediction time.
Boom.
And we didn't move. We both were 5-3. We split the 2 games that we had different.
It's because of the year of the upsets, man.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride right now. But if you're joining us live and you'd like to chime in, let us know who you predict to win these games. We try to pick the best games of the week. Obviously, with the playoffs, a lot of those come by. But my winning percentage went up a little bit. I'm at 55 now. I'm a little happy about that. We're getting there. We're gaining some traction. Got to get Manny back on. We got to get Kenny. Come on, Kenny. You're at 50%, my friend.
Yeah, that's not good, Kenny. Wait, was that 43 and 42 at 50%?
Yes. Yeah. Right. Just clinging. He's clinging.
So it's 50.4.
Tonight, you got game 2, Miami Heat at the Boston Celtics. My expectation would be is Boston wins this easily because that's been their MO. So I'm going Boston here.
Yeah, I'm going Boston too because, they feel like fools. And now everybody's talking about it. And, so expect, Brown to get like 29 points and Tatum to get 40.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. 5:20. So tomorrow night, you got the Denver Nuggets at the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, I'm going Denver. I think maybe LA can win game 4. But no, I'm going Denver.
Yeah, I went Nuggets as well. I just have not seen anything out of the Lakers to make me believe that they're going to be able to beat the Denver Nuggets.
Kenny took the Celtics.
He did.
Surprise?
No. Yeah, homer. He's a homer. He's as big a homer as you are. Maybe more. He went Denver as well. Tonight as well, Dallas Stars at the Vegas Golden Knights. That's game 1 of the Western Conference Finals in the NHL. I'm going Vegas here. I think Vegas has played better hockey. I think Dallas, got through, but struggled to get past Seattle. So I'm going Vegas here.
Yeah, I'm also going Vegas. I do think Dallas is going to win the series, but I'm picking Vegas in game one.
That's that homer in you. Bruce Cassidy can't win. If Bruce Cassidy hoists the Stanley Cup, the look on your face, I'm going to make sure that picture's all over Sports Unfolded. I am doing that for you, my friend. Kenny, who do you got? Vegas, Dallas at Vegas. Dallas. He's going Dallas. Maybe you know something we don't. Tomorrow night, you got the Florida Panthers at the Carolina Hurricanes. That's game 2.
Ice is cold,
Ice is cold. Yes.
I'm going Carolina in this one. I think they're going to come back with, a full effort, and I think they're going to try to, do what I said to get around that forecheck. I think a quick outlet pass. I think they might send somebody for a stretch pass quite often, and I know that's how they beat the Bruins last season in the playoffs, and I think they're going to try it against Florida this year.
Kenny going with all the road teams other than Boston so far. Tonight, series starts 3-game set. Milwaukee Brewers, the first place Milwaukee Brewers at the Tampa Bay Rays, first place Tampa Bay Rays. I'm going Tampa here. Going Tampa. I think they've played better baseball. I think they take 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'm tired of losing to Tampa, frankly, on these predictions. So I'm going Tampa. Why not? This will be the time they lose, though.
Yes, of course. That's what happens usually. That's what happens. Let's see if Kenny's probably, if he's going with the trend, he's going Brewers.
The Brew Crew. He's probably trying to figure out who's pitching.
Yeah. Or he's actually trying to find bear emojis.
All
right. We got tomorrow night as well. You got the Dodgers at the Braves. That's a 3-game set.
Yeah, look, Dodgers has a great lineup. You went Tampa. Atlanta has a couple of pitchers out, so I'm going to go Dodgers in this one.
I went to Dodgers as well. I think they're getting hot now at the right time. They're going to start to try to take over that National League. And I think they got the talent, man. They have better talent. Braves, very good team, but like you said, those injuries too, it's going to start to cost them. We've got tomorrow as well, the Philadelphia Union versus the New England Revolution. That's in Major League Soccer. I'm going Philadelphia here. They're down and out for a little bit. They need to win something. Granted, it's not a championship, but Philly's going to beat. Kenny just went Tampa and the Brewers. That's pick one. No, the next game was Dodgers at Braves.
Yeah, you can't pick both teams.
You can't pick the Tampa and Brewers. That's not as works. Well, actually, you'd get a win and a loss, I guess.
Yeah, he'd get a win. That's the important thing, right?
Poor Kenny.
All right, I'm going to go a tie in that Philadelphia-New England game.
Oh, Ryan's going the old tie. All right. So if the Revs win, you still lose, and I lose. But okay. WNBA action, my friend. You got the Las Vegas Aces at the Seattle Storm. And that's tomorrow night.
Yeah. What's Vegas being investigated for?
Becky Hammond, I guess there was something about the pregnancy and they traded her. They thought it was because of that. I don't believe it. I think this is a smear campaign to make sure Becky Hammond doesn't get a job in the NBA.
I am going to go with the Storm. So there are, Aces are on the road. I think that team's better, but I think the Storm will win at home.
Okay, I went Vegas. I think they're gonna try to win one for Becky. And again, Seattle lost, their big star in Breanna Stewart, so I think they might not be as good this year. So Sunday we've got the Washington Mystics at the Connecticut Sun. Connecticut 2-0, playing some good basketball. I'm going Connecticut here. Sticking with my local hometown team.
Yeah, I'm also going Connecticut as well. So I just think that they just play a great game at home. So I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to hope that the sun sets on the Mystics.
Yeah, I can't. I might have to go. I might have to go down there. Maybe I'll go check that game on Sunday. Ron, before we go into our final thoughts, can you tell all the wonderful people out there how they can support our show and sponsor Sports Unfolded?
Why, I certainly can, Eric.
Did you want some theme music? You want theme music? I'll give it to you.
I'm waiting. All right. It's as simple as sending us an email at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can give you all the information you need, but it's just simply like this. It costs less than going to your favorite donut shop, buying a coffee and a donut. And how are you going to get thousands of eyes and ears all over the place, everywhere? So if you are a tire company, like I say, you should be sponsoring the pick and roll segment. I mean, that would be fantastic.
And now a new segment, starting 5, right? So start your breakfast with wherever, starting 5.
So Jimmy,
that other
Oh,
yes, yep, can't say it. We're not getting paid.
Jimmy, let us know.
There we go.
I know he's not alive, but
So, Ron, normally how we end our show, we do our final thoughts, and our final thoughts doesn't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It could be about anything going on in the world today. I am first this week, so I will start us off with my final thought, and it's on one Mr. Ja Morant. I would honestly say that at some point in some time, I really hope that there is an individual that gets into his ear and tells him, hopefully it's this segment right now, you have a responsibility to yourself, an organization, a league, to do the right thing, And I think at some point you got to take out this gangster mentality and realize you're a basketball player, and a very good one at that, an immense talent who has an opportunity to be one of the greats in this league for years to come. And you're going to blow it because you want to try to create an image. Nobody cares about your image. They care about what you do on the basketball court, because ultimately that's what's going to make you millions upon millions of dollars. And you continuously have these acts of, I guess, a child of acting out in trying to prove some kind of point to someone somewhere. I don't know who. It's not going to work. It's going to ultimately create your demise. And I just hope that at some point you realize that the most important thing to you right now has to be basketball, and figure out who the right people are to be around you, so that that's your priority going forward. But good luck to you, Ja Morant, because you may not be playing much basketball next season as well.
Very nice, Eric. Very nice. Look, my final thought goes in a totally different direction than what Eric went. It's the master plan, right? The master plan of the NFL. When you have all these great teams, they seem to get loaded up and they make their push. And for the most part, they win. NBA, same thing, right? You have this master plan and you load up with this dream team of a team and then you win, correct? Well, maybe not so much. Miami certainly proving everybody wrong in that aspect. Oh, wait. Maybe the NHL too has figured out how to win without those dream teams as well. I mean, you've got, 4 teams in there right now that really, they're not loading up on all these salaried players. So, wait a minute. Now that I think about it, Major League Baseball seems to be that way as well. When you have Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, they're all in the mix right now and leading divisions. So it's got to be something that the coaches have found out, right? You have all these Cinderella teams starting to win in college, and so somewhere along the line, that dream team or those teams that you were talking about, Eric, before, I think they figured out how to win with younger players that have the talent. They just need the guidance, and you get a couple of players that are those old timers, and you'd be amazed at what they can do. I mean, we've seen New Jersey Devils play well this year. We've seen a lot of teams, and look out NFL 2023, because Jacksonville and Carolina are coming. They're coming, and don't be surprised them winning those divisions.
And the Patriots. No, no. Well said. Right. Well said. I think we're starting to see a change in sports where it's get some guys that can hustle and want to play and have a desire to win. So
Yeah.
so important.
See,
Ron, yeah, Ron, I want to thank you for tonight's show. Great show. Kenny, I want to thank you for joining us live. Always been a loyal fan, and also one of our biggest NBA analysts for us here in Sports Unfolded. Ron, my hockey guru, Mickey, my baseball guy, thank you for all you do for Sports Unfolded. We will continue to grow. We will continue to do more and more and bring you more and more. Look forward to next week and see what other fun things we can do, Ron. I hope you have a safe week and a good week. Everybody out there, you take care, and all we ever ask for is peace on earth.
Take care, everybody. Have a good night.